right, well, welcome back to the Stateside Podcast. How's it going, Alan?
Awesome. I'm not tired or annoyed at all. We totally haven't been working on shit for 4 hours.
Mother of God. Oh, fuck my life. It's been 4 hours.
Yeah. Honestly, this might be the way to do it in the future, is just put ourselves through hell and then hop on here and just be...
Wait, no, it's been longer than 4 hours. It's been like 5 hours.
Maybe it has. What time is it right now?
Because I got here at like 4:30.
Yeah, and I was here just after 5.
And now it's almost 10.
Yeah. Yeah, so almost 5 hours.
Almost
even
5
better.
hours. So, ladies and gentlemen, you say you want to do a podcast, huh? Oh, yeah?
It's not plug and play. You would think in 2018 it's plug and play, but this is not. We're not burning CDs over here. Like, this is... No. There are so many there's a lot of chords and sounds, and you get weird hums, and you got to... so much Googling. We Googled so many things.
Oh, tonight. Yeah. Like, oh, my God. It's crazy. The amount, yeah, because even when I'm explaining it back, it still seems like it should be easier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I still can't properly explain to people why it takes so much work.
That's it. Yeah. Well, and the most frustrating thing is that unless you're deep in it and seeing how annoying it is, then you don't understand. So if we were to go out on the street and just tell random people like, hey, we have a podcast and it's really hard, they'd be like, okay, boo-hoo.
Boo-hoo.
Like,
oh, you talked?
Yeah. Cool. And also it's probably not that hard. It's just plug and play, because on the outside it totally looks that way. But
yeah, and to be fair, the other factor here is that me and you are completely retarded.
Yeah. I mean, with this shit.
With this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were a professional audio engineer, then this is going to be much easier for you.
Yeah, and it's a means to an end. Like I'm really comfortable, talking and shooting the shit, but I mean, we got to sound all right. We got to get hums out of there, and we got to the production aspect is number one, because then you can like talking as much as you do, and it doesn't matter if you can't.
That's right.
If you can't just get the bones of the show together.
No, and it's so important to both of us to make the show sound good for you guys listening.
Yeah.
And not just good, but as good as any professional podcast that you frequent.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, that's why we just spent so much time doing this, and we're going to continue to improve and learn, because we could have just kept doing what we've always been doing, which is sort of just getting by. I mean, at least before you came to the show, that's what I was doing.
Yeah, I could have stayed at home a couple more hours just watching the Randy Coutoure jerk-off video. I'd rather do that, but...
Yeah, so let's just start there. We can just get
That's a great starting point.
Dude, that was one of the funniest fucking episodes ever.
It's insane. I'm a big MMA fan, and I watched a video of Randy Coutoure jerking off. Like,
see, I didn't actually watch it.
Oh, I had to, man, and I regret it. I regret it heavily. Like, I might as well watch my fucking dad jerking off. Like, and the thing is, there's not a woman present, so it just makes it...
Oh, there's not?
No, it's him. I believe it's something he filmed for his wife or his girlfriend. I don't know if he's married or what his relationship status is, but yeah, man, he's and that's what makes it so extra creepy, is that for a split second I kind of imagined that he filmed that video for me, because it's just it's just a cell phone video, and it's aimed at him. It's a weird angle, and he's just locking eyes with the camera.
So how did that get out?
I actually have no idea. I just found out about it through The Fighter and the Kid, and
because I thought Brendan was saying something about how he saw a girl in the room or something like that.
He says, what's the line? He uses the line, he's giving his girl eyes or something like that. And I think that's what I was just talking about, where he's looking into the camera.
Oh, so it just looks
kind of like you like this. Yeah, he's looking into the camera at the person that video is intended for, not the millions of people who have recently watched it.
For people that don't know, Randy Coutoure is a former MMA fighter. He was in the UFC for a while, right?
Yeah, greatly respected. People call him Captain America. He's like the if Earth was to go to war with another planet, he would represent us.
Yeah, like he's a veteran, combat veteran.
Yeah, he's the dude.
The dude, yeah.
So it's and he's a bit older now, and it's
what a bummer for him. I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Like, that must really suck. How embarrassing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that episode of Black Mirror? where this very thing happens?
That's one of my favorite episodes of that show.
Oh, wait, no. Do you remember the twist, though? It's not a video of a kid jacking off.
Well,
that's what they want you to think.
It's the child porn one, right?
It's child porn.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Dude, I am stuffed up right now.
Yeah, I just got over some shit.
I feel fine. I'm just all stuffied.
Yeah.
So, Christmas time, man. It is what, the 13th, the 12th today. It's crazy.
Such a stressful time.
It really is.
Like, it's supposed to be all relaxing and you just drink eggnog and listen to Christmas music. But
it was that way when you were a kid.
Right. Nobody talks about how you got to get gifts for your family. And then, oh, what do you know? Your office is having a secret Santa thing. Yeah. You got to draw a name. Oh, you just drew the name of the person you know the least in the office. Good luck figuring out a gift that's not insulting. And, ostracizing that person.
I will say, though, that I think there's like... the older you get, you should really try to not let that completely overwhelm you. You like, don't let Christmas be a bad thing, I guess is what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, as much as you can, because it is stressful and it is a lot of pressure and it's just so crazy. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, my movie pick. I mean, we can talk about that and we'll get back to it. But my movie pick this week was going to be Scrooged.
Oh yeah,
just watched it the other night, and the end of that movie is one of my favorite endings, not just for a Christmas movie, but for any movie. Do you remember the end where he goes on like this rant about Christmas?
I don't remember it at all.
So obviously Bill Murray plays basically Scrooge, right? And, like bah humbug, he hates Christmas, blah, blah. And then by the end of the movie, it's like one of the best performances from him too, because he just goes on this rant about how it is a miracle. It is a miracle that it happens every year that people get a little bit nicer and they want to give. And he's talking about like, and then when it happens for you, you want it and you get greedy for it. And he's like yelling and he's like tearing up. Like Oscar performing. It was amazing. And I know it sounds cheesy and it is and everything, but I don't know. There is something about that it is kind of remarkable that 1 month out of the whole year, there's this time period in the year where everyone kind of gets happier.
Right, because everybody plays along.
Everyone plays along.
And people honestly, if you don't
lights and like,
and if you don't play along, it's the greater good will make you feel like the odd one out, because that's how together I think society is on like, no, Christmas is a good thing.
It is, yeah, even for non-Christians, like me and you aren't religious people.
Right.
And we still celebrate. And so I don't know, it is pretty cool. I do like that aspect of it.
Yeah, I need to watch that. I remember like small scenes, but I don't, as a whole, I don't remember it.
Yeah, let me see if I can find that scene.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
It's so good.
Bill Murray, man. What is he doing right now?
Oh, he's the best. Just the best.
Yeah, he's killer. He got in a little bit of hot water for, he was talking shit about the female Ghostbusters movie. Like he made some remarks about how that was a bad idea. That wasn't going to be funny. And
yeah.
I don't know that he came out and said anything about women themselves not being funny, but he was just definitely not in support of it, which he was in that movie, right? I'm pretty sure he was in it. Was he actually in it? Yeah, he either makes a cameo or maybe he got into hot water because he was offered a cameo spot and he was like, yeah, no, thank you. And then that was kind of him showing a lack of support for I haven't seen it. It's not very good. That's what I hear. To be fair. Yeah. I mean, it is kind of a pile of garbage. I'm a big Melissa McCarthy fan though. Yeah, I just recently saw a movie with her in it. It's a serious movie where she plays an author, that like a struggling author, middle-aged woman, and she finds a way to make it big by it's kind of a weird story. She finds people's like old authors, dead authors' letters to people, like their family and stuff. Oh. And so she finds this one letter from like an author to her aunt or whatever it was, and she sells it. Like, so there's some store, some like bookstore, historian store or whatever that buys stuff like that. Yeah. And so they buy this old letter. And then so she starts thinking like, oh, well, I could like forge these fake letters. I could pretend to be, Stephen King writing to his son. Was this like a newer movie? Yeah, it's fairly new. It's out now. Damn.
It's really, really good.
Haven't even heard of it.
And it's a true story. And she gets convicted for it. So
Right.
It's fucking crazy.
Damn.
And yeah, it's a serious movie. I mean, it has like funny moments in it and stuff.
Did you ever watch The Happy Time Murders?
No, I don't think so.
Have you heard of it? Are you familiar with it?
No.
It's her and then just a bunch of Muppets. And she...
Oh, yeah. That's new this year, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's a strange fucking movie. It's one of those ones that I keep falling asleep, and not because it's not good, but I just start the movie at like 11:30.
Yeah.
And I don't finish it, but it's got like the parts of it that are like charming and funny are like those qualities are similar to Team America. How
right.
If it were just all human actors, certain scenes might not be that funny, but because they are these like awkward moving, objects, essentially just puppets, it's super funny. There's a scene where one of the she starts getting in an argument with the this detective, and he tells her to fuck off, and then he gets in his vehicle. And the whole time I'm like, please drive that vehicle. Like, that's just going to look so weird to have. Mm-hmm. And it's as weird as you would think that it would be visually. Anyway, it was...
That sounds awesome.
It was great. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I love her. I mean, she's great.
She's so good. Fucking Identity Thief or Identity Theft, whatever that movie with Jason Bateman. And then Heat with Sandra Bullock. That's fantastic.
Oh, hell yeah.
All of them.
I have Scrooged.
Let's do it.
Now, how did that happen? That happened because it's Christmas Eve, I'm telling you. I'm not crazy. It's Christmas Eve. It's the one night of the year when we all act a little nicer. We smile a little easier. We share a little more. For a couple of hours out of the whole year, we are the people that we always hoped we would be. It's a miracle. It's really a sort of a miracle because it happens every Christmas Eve. And if you waste that miracle, you're going to burn for it. I know what I'm talking about. You have to do something. You have to take a chance. You do have to get involved. There are people that are having trouble making their miracle happen. There are people that don't have enough to eat. There are people that are cold. You can go out and say hello to these people. You can take an old blanket out of the closet and say, here. You can make them a sandwich and say, oh, by the way, here.
Here.
I get it now. And if you give, then it can happen. Then the miracle can happen to you. It's not just the poor and the hungry. It's everybody who's got to have this miracle. And it can happen tonight for all of you. If you believe in this spirit thing, the miracle will happen, and then you'll want it to happen again tomorrow. You won't be one of these bastards who says Christmas is once a year and it's a fraud. It's not. It can happen every day. You just got to want that feeling. And if you like it and you want it, you'll get greedy for it. You'll want it every day of your life, and it can happen to you. I believe in it now. I believe it's going to happen to me now. I'm ready for it. It's great. It's a good feeling. It's really better than I felt in a long time.
I love that so much. It goes on from there. But yeah.
Yeah, he just goes just full psycho.
Oh yeah, it's so good because the whole movie he's just like progressively going crazier. Mm-hmm. Because it starts out where he's like a sure of himself businessman, businessy guy in the 80s. And he hates Christmas. He's a miserable cunt. He treats everyone terribly. He loves firing people. Like, he's just the absolute worst. And then, he obviously starts getting visited from all the ghosts, just like Scrooge. So, like, the ghosts of Christmas past, Christmas future, whatever.
They let him know he's fucking up.
Yeah, and it's just so funny. It's such a hilarious movie. Just flies under the radar. I don't hear a lot of people talk about that movie. But it really is like one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time.
You know what I was thinking about is super unrelated, but you watched Family Matters growing up, right?
Fuck yeah, bro.
Dude, think about Steve Urkel and the fact that like everybody comes down on what was Carl the father?
Isn't Carl Carl Winslow? Yeah,
Carl Winslow. So everybody comes down on him because he's constantly yelling at Urkel. But like, if you really think about that, like Urkel came in and just broke a bunch of Carl's shit.
Oh yeah, he's the worst neighbor kid of all time.
And then just like constantly
walks in their front door without knocking.
And was always sexually inappropriate with Carl's daughter.
Yeah,
like he just
creep.
Yeah, he would just come in and like creep on Carl's family and break all his personal belongings.
Yeah.
And yet the vibe of like that story arc every episode was that Steve is just he's this lonely little nerd that no one respects.
Right, and Carl's like this pain in the ass, ball busting dad.
Yeah. It's hard not to be like Urkel. It might be because you're a piece of shit. Like,
yeah,
you might want to like take it down a notch.
The worst. Dude, how about that era of TV?
Oh, so good.
Like Full House.
I don't know if it was objectively good or if it's one of those.
I think it's also that we were kids.
Yeah, you're 10 years old, so everything's rad.
But it was pretty fucking dope.
I mean,
it's not the same. It's definitely not the same.
Full House was a shit. And then, I mean, real quick, going back to Family Matters, that whole Stefan, when he made the machine that turns him into like a smooth motherfucker.
Smooth motherfucker.
Oh, Steve Urkel.
That guy, that actor went on to be like a Vine star. Did you know that?
Is it Jaleel White?
Yeah, he does like YouTube videos now. But he's like massively successful at it.
Jeez.
Yeah, millions of views, subscribers. Like he's one of those guys, vlogger or whatever.
That's killer. Yeah, I love that show. Full House was the shit. Step by step, I could watch it. It wasn't. I wouldn't run to the TV for it.
Step by step, and then we said Full House. What's the other one?
Yeah, there's like 30 more.
Oh, then Home Improvement.
Oh, for sure.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that whole era was so good. What do they call that? It was like on Tuesday nights or something.
Yeah, and then they had, I know Thursday was a thing too.
Thursday, yeah.
Because I remember specifically the 1-2 punch for me. I believe it was Thursday nights. It was Home Improvement, but then just before that, or maybe just after, I can't remember, was that show Dinosaurs.
Dude, that show, I have gone off on rants on that show so many times.
In a weird way, it's the most depressing.
Oh my God.
I can't believe there are moments in time where I ran to the TV so that I could sit and watch a half hour of that shit.
I can't believe there's moments in time that show existed.
And killed.
Oh my, it was like, America loved that show.
Dude, there were dudes in an office somewhere for hours every day that had to work up like merchandising ideas for that shithead baby.
Was the line not the baby?
Yeah, or no, not the mama.
Not the mama.
Which is what he would say to the dad. I think he had some other. He or she, was that a boy or a girl? Do we know?
We don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, because it had a very androgynous kind of vibe. But
that's pretty modern these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Gender is a construct.
Yeah, very true. There's the Zers. Yeah. I read somewhere that there's 200 plus, and that's fucking absurd. It's like, cool, you do whatever, because it doesn't affect me. Whatever you identify as, but 200, you know what that is? That's just, it's an offshoot of this, like how back in the day metal had like 35 subgenres.
Yeah.
And then when you'd get down to it, you were like, hey, there's speed metal and thrash metal. Explain the fucking difference to me. And a lot of people would be like, well, and you'd get these half-ass explanations. And it would always end with me being like, so what you're saying is there doesn't need to be both of those genres don't need to exist.
Nothing annoys me more than like sub genres.
Yeah. I think it all comes from the same place as a lot of the gender shit where it's like, I just need to be something that other people aren't.
Yeah.
So I'll make something. I don't like speed metal. I like thrash metal. I remember even hearing about the genre bleeding metal. What in the fuck is that? Name one bleeding metal band. What is that?
What?
It's just so fake.
It's silly.
It's momentary and it's artificial.
Yeah, and I feel like it's for like music elitist kids to say that they know about speed metal or what'd you call it?
Bleeding metal.
Bleeding metal.
Yeah.
And if you're like, what's that? They go, pff.
Yeah.
You don't even know what that is, bro.
Well, yeah, because the whole goal of that is to, especially at that age, the gold medal is to confuse somebody, make somebody go, what is that? I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Because now you immediately seem super cultured, despite the fact that you're a fucking massive fraud.
Yeah, massive fraud.
That's all that is.
Yeah. Well, speaking of people being hypersensitive pussies today, let's talk about the Kevin Hart thing.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty crazy. For those who don't know, I don't know how you don't know. You've been living under a rock. But Kevin Hart stepped down from hosting the Oscars recently because of some tweets from a decade ago, right? Like nearly a decade ago.
Yeah, it was like 8 or 9 years.
In 2011. That's a long fucking time ago. Where he makes a gay joke. It's a pretty hacky, stupid joke and everything, but he was clearly kidding, and he even apologized for it already in like an interview that he did in the past, years ago. What was the actual tweet that he said?
I saw several. There were some where he was directly speaking either to or about Damon Wayans, and
yeah. So in one, he said, "If my son comes home and tries to play with my daughter's dollhouse, I'm going to break it over his head and say in my own voice, 'Stop, that's gay.'" So it's
Well, and what's crazy about that is that he has he's got multiple comedy specials. One of my favorite of all time is his special Seriously Funny. And if anybody hasn't seen that, go watch it. It's essentially what just completely put him over. He had been doing comedy for, over a decade at that point, probably closer to 15 years. But when he released that just sent everybody into just Kevin Hart land. That was everybody's favorite comedian.
Yeah.
That's kind of what started the whole, comedy superstar, comedy rock star, I think is what he was calling himself for a while. It's great. But anyway, he's got 2 or 3 bits where a part of the punchline, or at least their tags or add-ons to the punchline, he says like, "Stop, that's gay," to his kid. And there was no issue with that then. In fact, he got bigger after that. Not that joke is what caused it, but just nobody had an issue. It's just that he was on the main stage because he was about to be the host for the Oscars.
It's insane.
So then the downside of that is that the magnifying glass is on you, and there is just nobody that can get put in that position that they won't find some sort of dirt on.
It's just nonsense. So it's like I've heard people talk about it. What did they accomplish? Who won in this scenario?
Right.
So a black man now can't host the Oscars,
right? Because
everyone's fucking so sensitive.
Yeah, you could play it so many ways. You could play it back on them for, well, that's a racist decision to not have him on as a host. And and to your point, it's okay. Kevin Hart is not the host of the Oscars because of some homophobic tweets. Homophobia is now over.
Yeah,
that's not the case.
No, it's not. It's
going to happen more.
Of course. And it's just selective. It's selective outrage. So now you have to sift through everyone's tweets, everyone's jokes, and pull from the one where they make fun of retarded people, gay and lesbian and transgender, women jokes, fucking little people jokes. Like, where do we fucking end this thing?
What I need clarification on is, because I don't care about this story very much, but I was interested at first, and so I sort of followed it, and where I left it was essentially the Academy, whatever. They came to him and they said, "Listen, all this shit's going down, cool. If you still want to host, you need to issue an apology." Yeah. And then he posted a video of him on Instagram saying like, "That's not going to happen."
I already did.
And I was like, love it. I love that, because you can't bend to that will, and the whole thing is silly, and I think it's important just to fucking walk, because you don't need that anyway. How are you going to get bigger as Kevin Hart? You're not. You're good to go. Just walk away. But then I feel like a couple days later, I saw him issue an apology.
Well, so what he did, he actually stepped down from it first. Then he did an apology.
Okay. So it's kind of weird. On his terms. Yeah.
That's right. He didn't apologize because they told him to. He stepped down because he knew it was just people were fucking pissed now.
Yeah.
The cat was out of the bag, and then he apologized. But what's important, it's more kind of cool to me, is did you see how Nick Cannon defended him?
No.
Did you hear about this?
I only saw D.L. Hughley defend him, but Nick Cannon, I didn't see that.
So Nick Cannon went out and found tweets from Sarah Silverman, Amy Schumer, and Chelsea Handler from the same time period, and selected and highlighted tweets from them that were homophobic. Check this out. It says, "I'm just saying, So Amy Schumer says, enjoy Skyfall, fags. About to get knee deep in Helen Hunt. Hashtag the sessions. So she's using the F word, Chelsea Handler. This is what a fag bird looks like when he flexes, responding to some photo. Sarah Silverman back in 2011 says, I don't mean this in a hateful way, but the new Bachelorette's a faggot.
Gee, she went the whole word.
So those are like three of the most left-wing, liberal, hypersensitive comedians out there that call people on their shit, and they did it themselves. So that tells you that it wasn't that long ago that people thought that was like okay in comedy. I'm not suggesting it is or it isn't. I'm just saying that people should be able to say whatever the fuck they want in the constructs of art.
Yeah.
Especially in comedy.
Absolutely.
It's never their intention to hurt feelings or actively go out and piss people off.
Of course not. Well, and then
that's not why you do it.
The goofiest layer of this whole thing is just the fact that you are going back nearly a decade. That's too
insane.
That's too weird for me.
It's too
not that there should be a statute of limitation. Like, you're always accountable for anything you've said. I get that. But it just, to me, like I said, it just adds this whole other additional dimension to just how far some people will go out of their own way to be outraged.
Yes. And again, it's from a fucking comedian.
Yeah.
Someone who, for a living, says absurd things that are clearly not factual or true. They say them because they think they're funny. That's the whole point.
Yeah, we just
push and prod.
We got to wait for these people to
crazy,
actually physically attack a gay person. If I see, like, if Kevin Hart, if there was video of him just fucking sneaking a gay guy or whatever, just fucking knocking him out at a club or something, I'd be like, okay, yeah, so assault charge, and then also maybe don't host the Oscars, like you're a garbage person. But to make whatever, he's not guilty of anything that a billion people also aren't guilty. Like,
and when did the Oscars and all these other things become like a platform for like social justice? It's a fucking award show for actors.
I know. I love that the punishment is you don't get to be at the forefront of the celebrity circle jerk.
Yeah, I know.
Like, oh shit,
it is, man.
All right, I'll go jet ski.
Yeah, like he needed the gig anyway. A show that no one fucking watches anymore.
So silly, and you see so much support for him too. Like, this isn't gonna ruin his career. This isn't.
Yeah, pretty much. I haven't heard of anyone that's like, that was a good thing. Yeah. We did it.
No one with the power to actually do what they threaten. I don't know. It's just
the thing that bothers me, I think, about that whole like scene, the social justice warrior scene, whatever you want to call it, is that they claim to be like super, welcoming of all types of people, right? Like, we're accepting of all walks of life, but that's not true. It's simply not true. They're only welcoming of their own type of person. Oh, yeah. You still definitely have to fit into a mold. You have to fit into their mold. Yeah. Right? If you voted for Trump, you're out. Yeah. If you are conservative, see ya. Mm-hmm. You're a Republican. You're a Christian. You are pro life, or like anything that doesn't fit in that mold. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's insane. Well, and the prerequisites fucking change all the time. You don't know. Like, you need a new pamphlet from them every day. And it's both sides too. It's not even just them. It's the far right is fucking out of their minds too. I never, if I really gave a shit about fitting into whatever mold, I'd have to email somebody every day and be like, hey, so I did this today. Is that okay? Yeah. Is peanut butter allowed today? I had 2 scoops as a Democrat, butter. Is that okay that I eat peanut butter? Yeah. Oh, it's not because it's racist? Oh, okay. I didn't know that. It's nuts, man. It's too much goddamn work. Just jumping through these hoops all the time. And it's people who don't. I mean, look, we spent how much time this evening pursuing something that we're trying to do and that we love doing. Like, if they spent half of that time doing something else with their lives and their time, like, we'd be so much further ahead. I agree. It seems to me a society that has no real risk, no real threat. It's just a happy, fat, really good economy time for this country. Yeah. And so people are just eating themselves. Yeah, that's kind of a thing that Rogan's always saying. He's like, we don't have the same problems. We don't have the same fears or worries. Like, if you and I
we leave the studio after we finish recording this, we don't have to sprint to our vehicles because there's wolves out there waiting for us.
Right.
And to a degree, that's a good thing,
of course,
for some people to have to deal with, because when that's the issue, then you don't have time to tweet about shit, and you're just like, hey, I'm just trying to get to my car without getting my ass eaten.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird fucking time. It's a super, super weird time. But anyway, fuck all them pussies. We talked about Randy Couture.
Yeah, we
talked
did.
about Kevin Hart. Oh God, here's one. Did you see the thing about that girl that ripped her eyes out while on drugs?
No. That sounds fake.
No, it is a very real story. I had it on the laptop, so let me...
What drug was that?
I think it was like meth or something.
I mean, meth sounds right. Meth, PCP.
Yeah.
I mean, too much Dayquil will fuck me up.
Woman who ripped her eyes out, her own eyes out.
Both of them. That's what I'm focusing on right now.
It says she thought it was a sacrifice to God.
Oh, okay. So maybe not drugs as much as mental illness.
No, drugs too.
Jesus.
So a young woman has described how she gouged out her own eyes while she was high on crystal meth.
Oh, crystal.
Kaylee, blah, 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 20 was heard.
Of course.
Of course, she's super...
That's so the name of a crystal meth addict.
Was heard screaming outside South Main Chapel in South Carolina in February.
South Carolina, of course.
Yeah, so parishioners ran out and they found her holding her eyeballs in her hands and desperately tried to restrain her. And she goes on and talked about how she ripped out both of her eyeballs. And then she says that now life is so much better because she can see like color. She's crazy, dude. Like totally nuts.
God.
Yeah. How
life
about that?
Is better now without her eyeballs.
Yeah. Here she says, life, quote, life is more beautiful now.
Here's the thing. If she truly believes that, then cool. This is a win.
Yeah.
Awesome. Stoked for you. I can't understand that, but if you really believe that, I don't know. I have a hard time. It's like, are you familiar with Eileen Wuornos?
No.
Prolific female serial killer. Is that her post?
That's post.
That's afterwards?
So she looks like a normal person now.
Yo, if I saw that picture
So young.
and you didn't tell me her name, I swear to God, I would guess Kaylee. She looks like such a Kaylee.
Crazy, right?
Is it Kayle?
Of course.
IGH?
No, Keylee, I think.
Hold up. Keylee?
Kaylee.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, Eileen Wuornos. I was listening to some like depositions or interrogations or whatever the fuck. And she would say a lot of insane things similar to this woman about like, oh, I ripped out my eyes and now things are better. She would say things along those lines that it's really hard to believe. And I just kind of found myself not buying into what she was trying to accomplish, which is creeping out the listener, try to creep these detectives out and shit. It's so, to me, it's transparent and a little, it's obviously fake. It's same with Charles Manson. They just say like wild things to kind of,
right.
They don't have anything to lose. It's not like they really have to worry about somebody thinking they're crazy. This woman just ripped out her eyeballs. You're crazy. Like that's just, it is what it is. So why not sprinkle a little life is better now? Like just go for it. Go all the way.
I know.
That's sad though.
It is.
She's got parents and they're just well, they probably don't speak, but yeah, that's real dark.
Yeah, it's fucked up, man. It's really fucked up. It's a fucked up world. One thing my wife and I always talk about is how if you can, like whatever you think of, whatever scenario you think of, like some fucked up sexual act or some torture you can think of or whatever, like basically whatever you can think of has happened.
I think about that sometimes.
You know what I mean?
And then I try to come up with a super specific scenario.
Yes.
And then I think about that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Someone has been murdered while having a banana up their ass.
Fuck yeah, probably.
And we're starting way down on the not so
true.
crazy.
True. All right, let me see if I can go up one. Somebody has kicked a 9-year-old boy in the dick from behind while wearing a fireman outfit and then like a MacBook on their head, like as a triangle, like the head right in the
like a teepee.
Yeah. And then you could get more specific.
The
fireman, he was a man named Kaylee.
Kaylee.
And the little 9-year-old boy was actually a hermaphrodite.
And the person filming it was wearing a top hat.
Yeah.
I mean, like
17 people filmed it.
Yeah, there's
exactly
just too
17
many people,
and then they all had specific identities. You can get wild, man.
You can get wild with it, man.
Jesus.
Yeah, and like something I always think about is, there's a lot of closed doors out there, Alan. There's a lot of rooms with the door closed.
Yeah,
where people are doing some weird shit.
God, dude.
Weird shit.
I'm obsessed with Sword and Scale, and it has been like one of the worst things for me to get obsessed with because
I need to check that out.
All I do is I was at Fred Meyer last night too, and I'm like just looking at everybody in the eye, and I'm like, man, what you up to later tonight?
Yes.
What are you doing?
Oh, dude.
What do I need to stop you from doing to somebody?
Right.
I think about that all the time.
Someone trapped in your basement right now, you motherfucker.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what the thing about that though is that is a choice to see things that way because the equal amount is the other way. Or definitely more the other way. Like it's more common that people are just normal people like us. They want
right. Well, that's the worst thing about my mindset because of Sword and Scale is that there's zero empathy. I'm not looking at anybody and being like, I bet you had a hard day today. I'm going to give you a smile as I walk by, or I'm going to say, excuse me. Instead, it's like, you fucking monster.
You motherfucker.
What evil shit are you up to? Because you're all of you are evil.
Serial killers and, right.
And that's like, that's a dark place to come from all the time. It's exhausting.
Yeah, that makes you crazy. I think that turns you into a serial killer, Alan.
I think it definitely could. Because, I mean, if I'm being honest, I've thought to myself, like, what is the one way to guarantee that I got nothing to be scared of? It's to become something gnarly.
The enemy.
Yeah.
Become the darkness.
It's hard to be worried about getting killed by a serial killer when you're busy hunting people as a serial killer.
Well, that's why like soldiers, like Navy SEALs and badass special ops dudes, they always talk about that sort of thing. Like, become the fucking enemy. Become the killer. We're not going to be hunted. We're going to go hunting.
Yeah.
Become the offense is what keeps you alive.
Right. Always be on the offensive. Yeah.
But that's not a way to live life, bro.
It's not sustainable.
No.
Because I am too goddamn lazy to be hunting people.
Yeah.
You gotta cut them up, and you just gotta think you gotta think so far ahead.
Oh God. Can you imagine? I know like these serial killers who have like 100 kills in their life.
Yeah.
That sounds exhausting. Absolutely exhausting.
It would be. That's a lot of lifting. That's a lot of garbage bags. Cleaning shit up. I'm assuming you're throwing away your weapon after each one. Like you got to dispose of that in a different spot. It's just, and then let's be real. Unless you are a complete psycho, between killings, you are worried that was your last one before you get caught.
Right.
And then you're just hanging out at home. Like I can't even go to the grocery store because everybody knows.
Did I pick up that knife? Did I wipe off the prints on that gun? Like
you're just watching the news all day, trying to stay on top of shit. But then you get paranoid that the police haven't even, they know who you are. They got a sketch out there, but they haven't released it to the public because they don't want you to know about it. They want to be able to catch you. They got an idea of what housing development you live in.
Right.
And they don't want you to be able to scatter. And you're just hanging out like, fuck, this might be it. Am I going to fucking prison next week or the week after? And it's too much.
I wonder when the first like documented serial killer was. Because obviously people have been killing fools for eons.
Shit. I just listened to an episode of Sword and Scale about a woman, I want to say in the late 1800s. For sure she wasn't the first, but she had a sweet little scheme going where she marries this dude and he's got a farm with a ton of land and for the time he's wealthy. So she gets with him. They're in love, you know, or at least as much as a normal dude can be in love with a serial killer. And they end up having children, whatever. And she ends up killing him, poisoning her kids.
Okay.
And you kind of think, okay, that's, you know, she snapped. She's tired of being a mom, folding laundry and shit, stepping on Legos. So she lost it. But then that was just step one of like 20, because that just opened the door for her scheme, which was then this petite, like lonely woman who I guess was attractive too, according to the information in that episode. She would then start putting out ads for men to come and work on her farm. And then there was just a lot of kind of implications that we can also hook up, and that I am lonely, I am looking for a suitor, whatever. Right. And she would even say specifically in the ad, it's so funny because dudes would be this boneheaded in this situation. She goes, and real quick, don't tell your family about coming here. Don't tell anybody.
Right.
And then all your money, bring that in cash. And a shitload of guys were like, I'm down.
See, that's such a man thing to do.
Oh, for sure.
Men are so fucking dumb.
Like, I mean, how bad could it be? She's a petite little woman. Like, she's not going to kill me. No, she's going to poison you. And then what you don't know.
Yeah, what did she do?
She ends up poisoning, I think, all of them. That was like her go-to. And if the poison didn't take, then she would strike him in the back of the head as they're like puking this shit up, whatever. And what a lot of them didn't know is that she had this farmhand, this dude who was secret, like he was super in love with her. And she kind of was like, she would let him around her when she didn't have anybody else. And he put up with that shit. She had already taken his money. And he was just a super codependent guy. But I guess he was like a fairly big dude. And she would kill these guys. And then he would bury the bodies.
No way.
And she's getting like $3,000. A lot of guys were showing up with around like $3,000 to $4,000.
The motivation to kill was for the money?
Yep.
Whoa.
Yeah. And that was her job. She did it forever. And then ultimately she kills a guy, but he did tell a family member where he was going. And about a month after he had gotten there, his brother shows up to talk to her and is like, what's up? Like, I've been sending him letters. He's not responding. It's so weird. And she says, well, we got in a fight and he left. He took all of his things and left. But this brother sees just a pile of all the mail that he sent his brother, who, according to this woman, has just, you know, bailed for no reason and didn't tell his family or anything. And he gets suspicious and gets a detective to scope out the situation. She gets squirrely and she kills a different woman just so she can have the body, puts that woman's body in her farmhouse, lights the farmhouse on fire.
Whoa.
Decapitates the woman too so that there's no dental records. Oh and then she just bails with this woman's head. And then police find the ashes and they're just like, oh, she died in a fire.
Oh my God.
So she's just out there. I mean, not anymore. This was like 100 years.
She got away with it?
Yeah, she was out there chilling and just died whenever. Literally
got away with it.
Never caught.
Fuck, man. Like what time period? You said the 1800s.
Late 1800s, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
It was so insane.
Dude, like police police work back in the day.
That was the funniest part is that they didn't have the ability to do anything. Somebody would be like, nothing. I'm pretty sure this bitch murdered my brother. And they'd be like, did you see her murder your brother?
Literally see it?
No, I didn't see it. Well, you got to be careful with accusations, man.
Yeah. And even if you saw it, we still have to prove that you're not lying.
And he's just like, that's my brother. And there's a lot that doesn't add up. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And then, you know, this.
Like, sorry, it's the 1800s. Nothing we can do for you.
Yeah. And there was like one cop per town. And like, there's no phones. If a sheriff has to come to the city to do an investigation, that's going to take 2 months for him to get there.
Do you ever think about like how living in that time period would have been? I mean, obviously it comes with its challenges, and you know, people are dying at our age, and we're like old men by now.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we're senior citizens.
Senior citizens in our 30s. But like, it's almost like the same thing as being a kid. It's so exciting. You know, like back in the 1800s, the thought of like, if you lived in Oregon, for example, which not a lot of people did, by the way, if you thought of like Texas or New York City, like that was like Europe to you.
Right.
It was so far away. This country was very not like as united as we think it, as it is now.
Yeah.
Like it's,
and modes of transportation were like it would take so long to get anywhere.
Long.
And we're all like, it's all hustle and bustle now. And I'm the most guilty of it, but I don't have any time. Like I'm constantly, I have no time.
Right.
Back then you legit had too much time. Like it was the opposite issue.
Yes.
And your days,
everything was exciting. Getting mail would have been amazing.
Absolutely.
Getting news from anywhere other than like your town would be amazing to hear.
Yeah.
That's what's going on in New York City. And you'd read about it that was written fucking 2 weeks ago.
I know.
Or more, a month
your
ago.
Your standard of amazement was so low.
Yeah. Let's go to the show.
Yeah.
Like an old fucking, that's crazy, man.
It is so insane to think about.
Yeah, now it's just like sensory overload and no one gives a fuck about any of it.
Yeah, now it's to the point where the same devices that would literally blow these people's minds,
blow their minds,
are the same devices that so many of us are like, I just need to take a break from my device.
Yeah, you take a break.
I need to go on a technology cleanse. Mm-hmm. It's like these people would be like, you have magic in your hands, you're saying you got too much magic.
Wait, you have all of the world's information in one little thing in your hand?
Right, and it's stressing you out.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You have the ability to do anything you want.
Literally anything.
And that's overwhelming to you, so you need to have a cleanse from it.
You can run a multi-million-dollar company from your phone.
Yeah.
You can do anything. It's so crazy.
So insane.
Yeah, and people are a bunch of pussies worrying about what Kevin Hart said
I know.
10 years ago. So that's where we are, folks. That's where we are. Well, what's the future of the show, Alan? What do we got coming down the road?
I don't know. I got some ideas for guests and stuff. I think that we've both kind of just been putting all of our marbles in the getting the show's bones right kind of basket.
Absolutely.
That's because it doesn't really make sense to bring people in here all the time if we're not feeling super sharp about the show. But today was huge. Mm-hmm. Getting the interface together, and hopefully we sound better. I'm assuming we do. And
yeah, and then by the way, speaking of that, I like talking about this stuff on the show too. I think a lot of people try to sweep that part of it under the rug.
Yeah, which is why it's so fucking hard for us to figure it out, because everyone else figures it out and then just goes quiet with it. It's like, help some other podcasters out.
Absolutely. And not just podcasting, but just anything. Like I want to document the journey of being an entrepreneur, running a management company. I want you to document your journey of being a design guy. Like all of those things I want to talk about on the podcast. The journey is what's important for me.
Yeah, because the last thing I want to do is put this like veneer over what we're doing, similar to how so many people are on Instagram. Like only share like the fucking awesome meal that you had, and then the front row tickets of whatever show. Like you get to dictate. You get to show somebody like, oh, here's like 3 photos from today. My life's like this all the time. Mm-hmm. I want people to know that, we tinkered around with shit for 4 hours today. Yeah. It's embarrassingly easy problems to solve for most people probably. Right. And we had to dig in and fucking figure it out. But that's real. Like that's really how shit is going.
I know. And the progression of this room and the gear and just the output of the show is something that people are going to be able to look back on and see how far we've come.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why we're documenting all of this now.
Well, and it blows my mind that so many people are listening already. Like I was telling you earlier, I just before we started recording here, I got text from my friend Carrie saying that she loves the show. She's listening to it. Yeah, she's even texting me like these like certain one-liners that like prove that she's listening, like deep, like inside jokes from the show. And that's awesome, because I got that text as we are banging our heads on this fucking MacBook trying to figure out, how to get the interface to work with GarageBand, and it can feel depressing and pointless. And then you get people that are like, yeah, dude, I'm listening, and it's funny and it's cool, and I'm going to keep listening. And that's huge. That's the whole point of this.
I agree. It's definitely motivating. It keeps me going for sure. Absolutely. Well, it's a couple weeks away from Christmas. It is the 12th today, so we're getting there. My guess is we'll do at least one more before Christmas, right?
I think we can do that. What
does that work out to? So yeah, there's only one more Wednesday. We do the show on Wednesdays. So only one more Wednesday before Christmas.
And honestly, even
19th.
during the break, like I told you, I'm not going anywhere. I've got,
I'll be around.
out of the entire break, I've probably got 6 hours that I have to devote to, family stuff.
Yep.
So I've got little pockets of time if we want to. I don't know, guest wise, how available everyone that I'm thinking of is going to be, but
yeah, right.
we can try to make it work and maybe bank up some episodes or something.
Yeah, we'll definitely do next week for Shizzy.
Yeah.
Shizzy, wow. Definitely do next week on the 19th, and we'll send everyone off in their jolly way to Christmas. Yeah, if there's one thing we could ask people to do is to share the show with people. I would say that's the number one favor I could ask of people. To let people know that the show exists, and that'd be awesome because we're working hard. We're trying to make this thing legit.
Yeah, definitely share it, or even just connect with James and I. Talk shit.
Absolutely.
Like, is there something about it that is annoying to you? We probably won't change it, and I'm for sure going to tell you to fuck off with your opinion.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It'll be nice just to connect with you guys, and we're trying our best to be kind of hypercritical of ourselves and sharpen the show up and get those edges nice and round. But we might be missing something. We might be zigging where we should be zagging. And
yeah, and again, like nights like tonight, we've been here for hours. We're already tired when we started.
Yeah.
So we're not trying to put out downer episodes or anything, but it's important to us to show you the way this shit really is.
Yeah, well, and there's nothing more psychotic than being that person that's always got to be up and on.
It's insane.
It's a weird thing. Like sometimes I'll have like a friend wants to hang out, and I'm like, I gotta be, I gotta be like that fucking. Remember that stand-up comedian Gallagher? He would smash watermelons with a sledgehammer. I gotta be a fucking crackhead with a sledgehammer and to be, or they're gonna be bored with me.
Right.
You can also just be a real person.
And those are like some of my favorite podcasts. Is when you see the ups and downs in the episodes.
Yeah.
The fighter and the kid or whatever it might be. They're not always on every week. There's better episodes than others, and there's more energy and less energy. But as a whole, on average, you like the show. And that's important to me, that on average, you guys are looking at the show and it's something that you guys dig.
Definitely. I mean, not to shit on Brendan Shaw, but I will never cry on this show. It's never going to happen.
Wait, when did he cry?
Dude, he cried about, I think it was about it was a few things, but the last one I remember was about his kid. His kid had some sort of an issue. Which, for sure, yeah, it's definitely sad. I get it. But,
yeah,
I don't know. I just,
I mean,
I'll never cry.
Yeah, I don't ever cry ever. I'm a perfect, I have my emotions perfectly calculated.
Yeah, dude, speaking of serial killers, just never crying.
God. Well, I think we did it. I think we accomplished something tonight. What do you think?
We definitely accomplished something. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're in town for the whole Christmas week, you said?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you still have like a Christmas list with your family, or do you guys even get each other anything?
Not really. I was just telling somebody that, the way my family does it is we are, we're helping each other out, whether it's financially or even just favors and stuff, big and small, all year. So it's a weird kind of thing to like put so much importance on getting or receiving. We're doing that all the time. So it's, if anything, it's like, it's the opposite of most people where this is the time where we definitely don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. All the kids in the family, they obviously get stuff. You got to hook the kids up.
Yeah.
But the adults kind of they just want to hang. And if I bring some beer over to dad, he's stoked. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. Mom wants, she saw my Rise Records Yeti, I don't know, fucking cup thing, like it's not a thermos. I don't know what you call it, but she saw it and she really wants one. So I'm just going to get her one.
Right.
So,
just little stuff.
She doesn't really ask for much, but she really liked it. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just about relaxing, and
that's good.
And I bought a house this year, so I don't think anybody's expecting me to make it rain. So
yeah, it's pretty similar in my family. We historically don't like, my friends always think it's funny, but my family, we don't really do presents. Never really have.
Yeah.
Like you said, the little kids get something, and what we do instead with all the adults, we assign some, like I have my mom this year.
Oh, I remember you telling me about that. Yeah.
So everyone's assigned one family member, one adult family member. And historically we were doing a homemade Christmas. So you have to make something for someone.
Yeah.
Or be creative and come up with something. It was just a way to save money. This year we're still doing that, but now it's like you can go buy something. I think it's under $20 or whatever the rule is. Since I have my mom for Christmas, it is a good gift. We'll say that.
Perfect.
I think it's pretty rad. I think I came up with something pretty cool.
The best feeling
I'll
ever
tell you about it.
is having confidence in a gift you got for somebody. That is such a good feeling, because the opposite is horrendous. Just being like, all right, and it feels like it takes them an hour to open this shit gift that you don't even want them to see. It's so brutal. We just did Secret Santa at Rise, and I drew a name that didn't really fill me with confidence, and I stressed about it so much. But ultimately, I felt really good about it. So,
but do you guys do? Oh wait, so Secret Santa, that's different than White Elephant.
Correct. Yeah, White Elephant is prison shit.
Brutal.
I
want that shit.
I do not like it.
I don't either.
Because I don't even
survival of the fittest, man.
Yeah, I've had situations where like I can totally steal somebody's thing, and I'm like, that is so dark. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Secret Santa's way better. It's just because to me the least Christmas shit ever is competition.
So there's no trading. Like you just have someone, they don't know who gave it to them?
Yep. You each draw a name, and then that's your person. And you typically just give it a limit. I think we did like $25.
And then the gift that you get, again, you don't know who gave it to you, but that's the gift you get and you keep.
You get
no one steals it from you.
You eventually, correct. Yeah. No one can steal. And you do eventually get to find out who your Secret Santa was. The way we did it this year, that we've never done before. And I don't know what the like official rules of this are, but you open the gift and then you guess who it was. And then that, they confirm or whatever.
Was this person right?
The person who I got a gift for?
Yeah.
Yes, she was. She nailed it. And then I was like, the funny thing is there's, I think 9 of us at Rise. I knew who 4 people got.
Oh, so there's only 9 of you. Yeah.
Right. So I did the process of elimination, and which should make my job easier in terms of guessing who did it. And I still struck out like 3 times to where everybody at the table was like, just stop guessing. We're just going to move on to the next person.
Yeah. 3 out of 9. That's
and
already.
If I knew 4 and then I got 3 wrong, that's 7 out of 9 people. I'm one of those people. So I guessed everybody but the person.
That's hilarious.
So stupid.
Yeah.
I'm just like, am I drunk right now? What is going on?
Yeah. Well, I thought you were. Didn't you guys drink a little bit too?
Yeah, I wasn't drunk at that point. I got drunk for sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I didn't know I was drunk until when I left. I gave everybody hugs, and I was
too
like,
bad we didn't get your recording as you came in, because you were pretty toasty.
Dude, I was.
I should have gotten you.
I was way too pumped to be here, despite fighting through traffic and shit.
Well, it was worth what we did tonight.
Yeah, my buzz died just in time for us to fuck around with this shit for 4 hours.
I know. This is going to be good, though. We'll have a system. I think we worked out a ton of stuff tonight.
I feel like we took a huge bite out of the bullshit. Yeah, I'm feeling good about it. Today was huge. It was tough, but it was important. We got a lot of that annoying shit out of the way. And if we're being honest, this could have been way worse. Like, I really did think that the interface was going to be immediate plug and play, which it wasn't. Yeah. But it could have been like, we didn't even figure it out today.
I know.
And then we had to leave the studio being like, I don't know.
I don't even know where to
and get on the phone with tech support and that,
Yeah.
And then 4 or 5 hours turns into 3 days real quick.
No, dude, honestly, like, this is what we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty much what we needed.
Yeah, and all those playbacks were killer. They sounded fantastic. So I mean, we're doing it. We're getting it.
We're doing it and doing it and doing it well.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, let's wrap this one up. I think we got enough time on the board. Please be nice to each other. Smile. Be jolly. It is Christmas time after all. let your hair down, right? You know, be a little loosey-goosey, watch a stupid movie.
Do a little crystal meth, rip out your eyeballs.
Rip out your eyeballs.
Quit being a pussy, man.
Yeah, get into the Christmas spirit. Do some crystal meth and rip out your eyeballs.
Why not?
You know? And get online and take down actors who said something. It doesn't even matter what. Just pick and choose the topic and go find something that they said that you don't approve of and then try to ruin their career.
Yeah, point out people's mistakes because you're fucking perfect.
Do that during Christmas time.
Yep.
That's what I want to see from you guys. Does that work?
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
I think that's perfect. I think that's great. All right, we're going to be back here at the same time next week. You know the drill. Share the show, subscribe, rate and review, etc., etc. I think next week we'll have a guest. So we'll be back with the guest situation. And yeah, man, we're going to keep this thing going well into the new year.
Fuck yes.
All right. Love you guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Later.